Hi friends, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I hope that you will consider subscribing. I'm currently uploading multiple times a week. I have two other channels if you're interested. I have a vlog channel, which I always link down below, and also a beauty channel. So I recently went to the Goodwill outlet for the first time in months. It was a very sweet moment for me. Some of you might think I'm being dramatic, but the Goodwill outlet is my favorite way to source. I prefer it over retail arbitrage, over going to normal thrift stores, especially because I live in a very expensive city. It's a great way for me to get a lot of inventory at a very affordable price. So I just wanted to make this video, one, for those of you that maybe want some tips on how to start thrifting again, just to know like what the climate is, what the rules are, what's happening, because it was very fascinating. I was very impressed with the changes that they implemented to keep the customer safe. We're going to go through all of those. They actually gave me instructions when I walked in the door, and I wanted to save these so I could go through it with you. I took footage while I was there to show you like what I experienced. And yeah, I just thought it would be helpful for those of you that are maybe weary of thrifting again, or you want to know what's up, or for those of you that are just fascinated, or you've never seen the Goodwill outlets. I have done multiple come thrift with me videos where I've been at the Goodwill outlets. I'll link them down below, but let's just jump into it. The first rule that I really liked is that they were counting the amount of customers that came in. I didn't ask how many people could be in, but I saw at one point after I'd been there for an hour, they were holding people at the door and not letting them come in until someone left, which I really liked because, you guys, even though I'm out there thrifting, I'm super paranoid. I do not want to catch the Rona. I'm very careful. I wear my mask everywhere, even in places where they say you don't need to wear a mask. I have sanitizer. I'm washing my hands, no joke, probably 20 to 30 times a day at minimum. So I really appreciate the places that have these strict, I don't think they're strict. I think they should have been like this forever. Rules in place because I'm just paranoid, but I also want to keep my business going. So one, they were counting the people that came in, and two, there was a woman who was handing you the cart. She would give you the cart and she would clean the cart when people brought carts back, and when the carts that you would take from her, she had just cleaned, which I appreciated. And I'll show you footage of this stuff probably while I'm talking. The biggest thing that I noticed, you guys, that I loved, and I wish the Goodwill outlets were like this all the time, it was one person per bin. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times people crowd me at the bins. People will bump you. I've never gotten in like a fight or anything. I've never even seen a fight at the Goodwill outlets in Los Angeles. People say they happen. I've never seen them, but it gets very crowded. It gets very hot, and I am someone who likes her own personal space. I'm an only child. I've always had like my own wide range of personal space, my own room. I think it has a lot to do with me being an only child. And when I used to go to the bins and people would crowd around, I didn't like it then. And especially with the pandemic, I don't like it now. So I really appreciated that. Some of you may not like that. Let me know your thoughts down below. I loved that rule, and they were not messing around. People would come around and be like, you can't, there's two people at this bin. There can only be one at a bin. And I'll show you footage. They had arrows, and you had to go in one direction. So you were all moving in one direction, circling around the outlet, and there were yellow, I think they're yellow and green arrows telling you where to stand and what direction to go into. And what was interesting is I saw a lot of people just standing at bins, and at first I was like, why are they just standing there? Can they move so like I can get through bins? But I think they were waiting for new bins to come out, and so that was a whole other thing. We'll get to that, but I really appreciated that, you guys. I wish it were that way all the time. I'm one of those people when I go to the outlets, when they used to bring out new bins, they'd bring out like 12 at a time, and then everybody would rush to it. I would never go to that, ever. I didn't like crowding around people. I didn't like I couldn't even really see the items. So I was like, what's the point? I'm just grabbing stuff I can't really see quickly. So I really appreciate that rule. And then you have to go in one direction. And then what's interesting is that this is the part that's kind of not that great, is that now, at least right now, they only bring out one new bin at a time. So you're not getting as much new inventory coming out like you used to. That's one thing I loved about this bins in Los Angeles. I should have said that in the beginning if you're new here. These are the Los Angeles Goodwill outlet / bins. They would bring out a lot of inventory consistently throughout the day. Like 5 to 10 new bins, maybe every 15 minutes. And right now it's a much slower process. So you're not getting as much new inventory coming out, but I appreciate it. First of all, I'm just grateful to be thrifting again, grateful to be able to go to the outlet, but I appreciate that I'm even able to be there. But that is something I was like, oh man, this kind of stinks. Like, you do have to kind of wait around for new inventory to come out, because they take one back, they bring one out, and it's one at a time. And I don't know how long that's going to go on, but that's what else is going on. I brought the list so I don't forget any things. You do have to wear a mask, which I wear a mask everywhere, but you guys, after being in the outlet, you know what? It did help with my allergies because it kept a lot of the dust out, so I wasn't sneezy as much, but I felt so much hotter. That mask, when there's not a lot of airflow, I just was like sweating. It was a mess, and I had on a huge wig. I think I had this wig on. I was like, why the hell did I put this wig on? You will feel hotter in there. Maybe bring a little fan or something. It says you must be 12 years or older to enter. There used to be children. Personal opinion, I never understood why people brought their children there. Like, I would see babies at the Goodwill outlets, and it's really dusty and dirty. I don't know. Maybe people couldn't get childcare, but I was just wondering. I used to see, I'm not kidding, like infants and strollers at the bins, and they would just be running around, hanging out, or like strapped on their mother, and I'm just like, okay. But now you have to be 12 years or older. I don't know how long this is going to be in place. One customer per table, and it does say follow the directional flow, and there's arrows. Now you can kind of bounce around, so if there's someone right in front of you and they're not moving, because a lot of people would just stand for the bins, I would just go to an empty table, but follow the direction of the arrows, and just, you can bounce around, but one person per table, and they were really strict about that. It said no outside food or drink. I bought a Yeti full of ice water because it was hot as hell in there. Nobody said anything, but I think if you're low key and you bring a bottle of water, I think it's fine. If you bring in like McDonald's, Subway, and Chick-fil-A, then you might have a problem. Oh wow, they're not letting you bring in outside chairs either. People used to bring chairs because they would stay there all day. Oh, another thing, they're only open 9 to 5 right now. That's a big thing I noticed too. They used to be open, I think it was 8 to 8. This is a doozy. This is the reason why I only stayed 2 hours. There's no public restrooms. And I get it. I get why they're doing that, but I drink a lot of water and I use the restroom a lot, so I could not stay longer than 2 hours. I really wanted to make it 4 to 6 hours, but I couldn't use the restroom. I even went to McDonald's and their restroom was closed. That's just something that's happening with the times. So try not to drink a lot of water before you go. I'm going to go next week and I'm just not going to drink water before I go. It says when tables are being swapped, you cannot touch them until they are directed to by staff. So, well, that's always been the rule and people break that. One shopping cart per customer. And you must, this is another big thing that's new. Your shopping cart must stay with you at all times. At the bins, people used to just line their carts up on the wall and shop. I never did that. I always kept my cart with me. I think I'm just paranoid. But now you can't do that. You have to stay with your cart. So I think a lot of people aren't staying that long because there's no restrooms. You have to wear a mask. They're only bringing out inventory one table at a time, and you can't leave your cart. You can't bring chairs, so they're being pretty strict. I appreciate it. Honestly, I wish it was this way all the time, minus the mask. Once things calm down with the pandemic, that's the only thing, and I would like to have a restroom. The mask in the restroom, but I get why you have to do it, and I totally abide by those. I'm just thinking, all the other rules, I wish they would just leave them forever. I hate crowding around people. I don't like people like pushing up on you to get to the tables and stuff. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you find these helpful? I'll keep doing Come Thrift With Me's. If you haven't seen my most recent video, you can check it out right here.